Good morning, folks. My name's Tom Mercer. I'm chairman of the Franklin Town Council, and it's my honor to be here this morning and to welcome everyone here. Today we gather to pay special tribute to the nearly 3,000 lives lost in 9/11 attacks which changed America and the world forever. Sunday will mark the 21st anniversary of what is considered the worst attack on America since Pearl Harbor. Each one of us can recall where we were on that tragic day. What we need to remember is how the world came together, how every day people became heroes. The bravery displayed by the first responders, and how America took a stance and stood strong in the face of the unknown. There was a true sense of unity. One thing I will always remember is how both the country and the world, even those leaders and countries that didn't necessarily support America, announced their dismay and even offered their support. And our allies, like France, stating, "Today we are all Americans." At this time, if you'd please stand for the singing of our national anthem, sung by the Senior Center Silvertones.
You can be seated. "21 years ago, Monday, September 10th, 2001, was a typical day. Michael Jackson's tribute concert, a wild high school party, and Monday Night Football were the headlines on the local news. All over, it was business, family life, and leisure as usual. President George W. Bush flew to Florida for talks and appearances around education. The home Yankees-Red Sox game was called for rain. The New York Giants lost to the Denver Broncos at the first Monday Night Football game of the season, a game that didn't end until long after midnight. Some fans would oversleep the next morning. On September 10th, 2001, 21 years ago, 246 people went to sleep in preparation for their morning flights. 2,606 people went to sleep in preparation for work the next morning. 343 firefighters and 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. 60 police officers went to sleep in preparation for their morning patrol. None of them saw past 10 a.m. the next day. As you live and enjoy the breaths you take today and tonight before you go to sleep in preparation for your life tomorrow, kiss the ones you love, snuggle a little tighter, and never take 1 second of your life for granted. At this time, I would like to ask Senator Rebecca Rausch up to read the 9/11 sequence of events.
Good morning. On September 11th, 2001, the United States, and certainly the world, changed as we had known it. Beginning at 8:46 a.m. on that fateful day, American Airline Flight 11 out of Boston, bound for Los Angeles, impacted the North Tower of the World Trade Center with 81 passengers and 11 crew members. All perished, including 5 terrorists on board. At 9:02 a.m., United Flight 175, out of Boston, bound for Los Angeles, struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center with 65 passengers and crew. All perished, including 5 terrorists on board. At 9:06 a.m., a series of rapid decisions followed, including redirecting inbound traffic away from New York and warning airplanes in the air of potential cockpit intrusion. At the time, there were approximately 4,000 planes in U.S. airspace, with hundreds more on the ground readying for takeoff. At 9:37 a.m., American Flight 77 out of Dulles International, bound for Los Angeles, with 64 crew and passengers, including 5 terrorists, crashed into the Pentagon. All perished. At 9:45 a.m., FAA Command Center decided to close all U.S. airspace for the first time in history. International flights either returned to their departure point or were diverted to Canada. Within a few hours, all commercial air traffic was grounded. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. At 10:03 a.m., the passengers of United Flight 93, traveling from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, struggled and fought the terrorist hijackers and crashed their plane into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. 45 passengers and crew, including 4 terrorists, perished. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. Now ask for a moment of silence.
The days that followed. Nearly 3,000 perished in the attacks on September 11th, 2001. Today, we pay tribute to those who perished on the fateful day and our first responders who continue to risk their lives to protect ours every day. We didn't crumble after September 11th. We're America. Americans will never, ever stand down. We endure and we overcome. When Americans lend a hand to one another, nothing is impossible. We're not about what happened on September 11th. We're about what happened on September 12th. As President George Bush stated, time is passing, yet for the United States of America, there will be no forgetting September 11th. We will remember every rescuer who died in honor. We will remember every family that lives in grief. We will remember the fire and ash, the last phone calls, the funerals of the children. We will never forget. At this time, I would like to ask Fire Chief McLaughlin and the Police Chief Lynch to come up to recite the firemen and police officers' prayers.
When I am called to duty, God, whenever flames may rage, give me strength to save some life, whatever be its age. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert, hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling and give the best in me to guard my every neighbor and protect their property. And if, according to my fate, I am to lose my life, please bless with your protecting hand the special people in my life.
When I start my tour of duty, God, wherever crime may be, As I walk the darkened streets alone, let me be close to thee. Please give me understanding with both the young and old. Let me listen with attention until their story's told. Let me never make judgment in a rash or callous way, but let me hold my patience. Let each man have his say. Lord, if some dark and dreary night I must give my life, Lord, with your everlasting love, protect the special people in my life.
At this time, I would like to invite our State Representative, Jeffrey Roy, up to give a keynote speech.
Good morning, everyone. The events of September 11th, 2001 forever marked and changed us. For me, it's what led to a career of public service and what thrust me into the 12 elections for local and state office that I've held since 2001. A few years ago, I visited the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City. It's the place that remembers and honors the 2,983 people killed in the horrific attacks of September 11th, 2001 and February 26th of 1993. It's a site that recognizes the endurance of those who survived, the courage of those who risked their lives to save others, and the compassion of all who supported us in our darkest hours. And while there, I looked up at the beacon light shining 1,776 feet high at the top of the Freedom Tower. It's a beautiful sight and a beacon of freedom that shines brightly. That beacon was designed and constructed by an engineer and a company from Franklin, Massachusetts, Carpe Diem on Saxon Street. That company took on the challenge of creating the brightest LED beacon in the world, which sits atop the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. It's a beacon that intones the sentiments reflected in Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works. It's a beacon that warns, a beacon that offers encouragement, and a beacon that provides guidance. It lights up the darkness, and it calls us together. Indeed, that beacon calls us together today as we remember that September day in 2001 and how much it has impacted us for the last 21 years. But it also reminds us how the worst terrorist attack in American history brought out the best in the American people, how Americans lined up to give blood, how volunteers drove across the country to lend a hand, how school children donated their savings, how communities, faith groups, and businesses collected food and clothing. Indeed, we were united, and the outpouring of generosity and compassion reminds us that in times of challenge, we Americans move forward together as one people. On this 21st anniversary, we face great challenges as a nation. We're emerging from a pandemic. We are divided in our homes, in our communities, and as a nation. and we are grappling with misinformation that threatens the very foundations of our democracy. But despite all these obstacles, we must remember that we are Americans at heart. And while you may not feel it at times, you live in the greatest nation on earth. The division and misinformation are reflections of the fact that we have lost sight of the virtue of working together. They result from greed, from leaders who look us in the eye and lie, and from terrorists, both foreign and domestic, who think nothing of the lives and families that they destroy. Indeed, they are some signs that people have given up hope. But that's not what Americans do. Indeed, true patriots look out for one another. They pull together as families, as a community, as a commonwealth, and as a nation. It's important to remember that in an interdependent world, we all need to work together. Now, I used to coach youth sports here in Franklin, and I remember one team in particular. That team had girls of all levels of talent, some very good athletes and some not so good. Some big girls, some small girls, some meek, some loud. And I wondered how this group would come together. And we assembled one day for practice, and I asked the girls to go out into the woods and grab 2 sticks each, and then come back and sit around in a circle. And they returned with sticks of many shapes and sizes. I asked them each to pick up the first stick they had and to break it. And no one had any trouble snapping that stick. I then had them bring up the second stick up to me so that I could gather them together in a bundle. There I was, standing with 15 sticks of all sizes joined together as one. I gave all the girls an opportunity to break that bundle of sticks wrapped together, and not one of them could do it. And I reminded them that that is how a team works. You come together in all shapes and sizes, and if you stick together, you will succeed. And that group of girls went on to have a great season. They all showed up for the games and practices, and they looked out for one another. They truly cared about each other and achieved success because they were a true team. And that's what we citizens of Franklin, as citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and as citizens of these United States must do. Let's come together once again for the good of our family, community, and country. Let's heed the words of John F. Kennedy from his City on a Hill speech delivered on January 9th, 1961. He noted that Massachusetts leaders have shaped our destiny long before the great republic was born. Its principles have guided our footsteps in times of crisis as well as in times of calm. Its democratic institutions have served as beacon lights for other nations as well as our sister states. As we mark this solemn anniversary, let's summon that spirit of unity once more. Let's be the beacons of light that spread our sense of common purpose. Let's reaffirm our character as a nation, bound by a creed as old as our founding, E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one. This is us, and that's the America that we must bend towards in that arc of moral justice. I look forward to that journey of peace, love, and understanding with all of you once again. Thank you so much for being here today as we embark on that journey together.
At this time, I would like to invite retired firefighter and chaplain Rick Marcoux to the podium for a reflection of the day.
Good morning. We have all heard the tragic numbers of the day of 9/11. We have, gone back and we've remembered where we were that day and what was happening and how life changed from that point on. But I want to bring to your attention one man that we didn't mention, is Father Michael Judge. Father Michael Judge was a Franciscan friar who was the chaplain for the New York City Fire Department. And Father Michael Judge is the one that went into the buildings as they were falling down, and I don't know if you remember that iconic picture of 5 men carrying Father Michael Judge from the debris. But as I did a little bit more research on it, Bill Cosgrove, a retired New York City police lieutenant, stated that Father Michael Judge saved 5 lives on that tragic day. He was referring to the iconic picture that I just spoke about of the 5 men carrying Father Michael Judge's lifeless body out of the rubble, sitting in a chair. And Lieutenant Cosgrove stated all 5 of those men survived. So what I'd like to share with you is a prayer, is Michael's prayer, Father Michael Judge. Well, first of all, let me back up. Father Michael Judge, Franciscan friar. He was born in May 11th, 1933, and died September 11th, 2001, and he is victim number 001 at the age of 68. And this is a prayer that Father Michael Judge wrote. Lord, take me where you want me to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Tell me what you want me to say, and keep me out of your way. That prayer means so much if you think on it, and I'd just like to say God bless you all.
Thank you all for joining us today to honor and remember our heroes of September 11th, 2001. A special thank you to the Franklin Fire and Police Departments, the Friends of Franklin Elders who sponsored this event, and all those who helped put on this program. This is the conclusion of our program. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you. And we do have some refreshments in the back. Thank you very much.
This program was made possible by your Franklin friends and neighbors, good folks just like you. Thanks for supporting Franklin TV. And thanks for watching.